Hello and welcome to my video demonstration. So starting off here, we're going to compile the manager and player programs. So I'm going to start with a new instance of a Linux terminal. And I'm going to start by running the manager program, which is over on the left hand side called server.py. So with that running, I'll create a new Linux instance and enter my project directory and go ahead and run the client side. So you can see that it indicates that there's been a new connection here when the client runs, and the client prompts for a message from the server. So I guess we'll register with 3 end hosts. Seems to be the next thing. So we can use the register command with a new username and our localhost IP address and a brand new port within my range. So here you can see that the command is passed as a string and handled here, given the first arguments that was register. It's going to trigger the execute register function. And you can see that it returns a message, which is preceded with a header that defines the type that the command was, and followed by the data, which is, in the case of the register command, either simply a success or failure, which is what gets printed out by the client side when it interprets that message. So we will do 2 more Linux clients instances, and go ahead and register with username 2 on the same address, but with a port incremented by 1. And we have a success there too. So the way my server works, actually, where you can see it's listening on the always true for loop, and when it accepts a new client, it basically creates a new thread. So they're working concurrently and can therefore share global variables. So here we've got a working client, and we're going to go ahead and do number 3, which is going to be another we'll register the 3rd username. And the 3rd port. That'll be another success. You can see, though, if we were to try that exact same again, that the error handling would simply reject it as a failure. All right, moving on here, we have one player issue a query players command. So we can do that here. It reprompts, obviously, that's also on an always true loop until the exit, but so query players. And I think I have some extra printing here before the pretty printing, which begins here. So this is where it actually starts interpreting. This is basically the body, just raw form. And so over here, Yeah, okay, so I do have a print body. That's that. I didn't mean to leave that in. That was just, yeah, for debugging purposes. But anyhow, the result here is still completely valid. So you can see that it lists in pretty format, current players, 3, username for each of them is username 123, and you can see they have the same address, but each have their respective ports. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? Oh, deregister, of course. Yeah, obviously. Oh, and query games command. Yeah, oh, there's a lot more to say. Okay. So we'll pop back open these windows here, and on a different one here, we'll do the query games. And obviously there's no games, so it's just going to say current games is 0. But it actually, even the message for that is in the same format where it has the header followed by the header being a game query and the number of games followed by potentially a list of games which contain lists of players in the list of games. And going to the deregister command, we will go ahead and deregister username 1. And as long as username 1 is not in a game, which obviously they're not, it'll go ahead and say success. And then if I were to go back over here, now that I've deregistered username 1 and do another query players, we can clearly see that username 1 has been removed and that only username 2 and 3 remain. So that's really just about it. I hope you had fun watching my code. It's pretty baller. So yeah, thanks.